Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Senators raise concerns over the increasing cases of bullying both inside and outside of classrooms.
A vlogger alleges that former presidential spokesperson Attorney Harry Roque was behind the fake pulveron video of President Bongbong Marcos.
The COMELEC sends another show-cause order against Pasig congressional candidate Christian Sia over an alleged discriminatory remark.
And Petrogas Angels draw first blood in the finals of the PVL All-Filipino Conference.
First in the news, the House Tri-Committee resumes their investigation into the proliferation of fake news online. Now here's a recap.
A heated exchange erupted between Congressman Benny Abante and vlogger Elizabeth Joey Cruz during the House Tri-Committee hearing on the spread of fake news. Abante took offense at a past statement Cruz made about him.
Ang sabi mo, ganito, kung Abante, paswelduhan ka ng taxpayer, tinawag mo akong oh, bakit? Ba't mo ginawa sa akin yun?
We do not know each other personally. Therefore, the statement was said based in a not personal way, but it is an observation.
What is your right to tell me I'm
That is part of my freedom of speech.
The congressman became even more frustrated when he recalled that Cruz allegedly once said she would slap him in the face.
If I tell you right now, sasampaling kita. Freedom of speech yan.
That's part of your freedom, Mr. Chair.
Pag sinampal kita, hindi na freedom of speech yan.
Of course, sir. It's overt
Hindi
action
na.
already. Yes,
Hindi
sir.
na, no?
Yes, sir.
Oo, ang galing. Mahusay ito. Oo, magaling ka.
The clash only stopped when the committee chairman stepped in. Also brought up in a hearing was the sworn affidavit of vlogger Pebbles Cunanan. She alleged that Attorney Harry Roque was the mastermind behind the edited video of President Bongbong Marcos using cocaine, dubbed the Pulveron video.
Sa palagay ko po, Mr. Chair, party po yun ang plano ng gusto nilang pabagsakin ng presidente.
Meanwhile, vlogger Sas Rogando Sasot, Lorraine Badoy, and Jeffrey Celis were cited in contempt for failing to attend the hearing without a valid excuse. Vlogger Mark Lopez was also cited after posting criticism of the committee following his appearance at the previous hearing. Representatives from Meta who attended the hearing said they are taking steps to fight misinformation, including removing accounts and content that violate their community standards. They are also limiting the reach of low-quality content. They've partnered with third-party fact-checkers such as Rappler, Verifiles, and Adjong France Press to identify misinformation. They're also cooperating with law enforcement agencies.
We can ourselves send content for the fact checkers to check, or the fact checkers can do it themselves.
Some lawmakers believe social media platforms like Meta should be held accountable in combating fake news. They suggest that registration of social media platforms in the country may need to be mandated.
We are exploring the idea of requiring accreditation or registration for social media platforms operating in this country to ensure that there is a readily accessible, responsible point of contact that understands and complies with our laws.
Now let's get insights on that development.
We have with us Attorney Tony Lavinia, convener of Movement Against Disinformation, joining us live via Zoom. Attorney, thank you for joining us once again.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning to both of you.
Yes,
Pastro pala kayo, parang law firm.
Attorney, parang nakita natin lahat yung very heated tri-committee hearing, no? What are your takeaways on that recent hearing on fake news?
First, those that disseminate, I call it disinformation because pag sinabi mo fake news, parang, di ba, oxymoron yun. There's no such thing. What is fake is not news, di ba? So, those disseminating disinformation should be held liable and accountable. So, that's the first principle. So, it's good that you have these hearings. Number two, of course, there's freedom of speech. And the only limitation to freedom of speech is clear and present danger. When the speech creates a danger to anyone or to the state, that is very serious. That's why red tagging is not protected, according to the Supreme Court, by freedom of speech. Because when you red tag someone, you threaten that person of even death, of an extrajudicial killing, of an attack. When you use misogynistic words, as we are seeing now with some of our politicians,
Yes.
that can be stopped by the COMELEC. You can be disqualified because that is causes immediate harm to women, for example. And we have seen how much misogyny has caused harm in the Philippines. But criticism of the government, that is not, that is protected speech. That's the highest form of speech. But third, and I wanna address the last segment of of that report.
Yes.
The social media platforms, they are not media platforms. They're not journalistic. They're not newspapers. They're not TV stations. They're not radio stations. They're not protected by freedom of the press. They're commercial entities making money out of this information. So they should be held liable and accountable for any disinformation that they allow in their platform. And again, the same rule, if it's just like, a person tweeting or posting to 50 followers, no harm. But if you're posting to hundreds of thousands that the president is snorting cocaine, you have to be liable for that. If you allow someone to do that,
Yes.
then the social media platform, who's not media, that's also a wrong term to use. They're businesses making money. Let's stress that. And therefore, they have to be held accountable for that.
Okay.
Yeah, Attorney, before I turn you over to Angel, just a question about the exchange between Congressman Abante and si Joy Cruz, no? Kasi they were debating about freedom of speech and expression. Ngayon, ang kiniklaim kasi ni Joy Cruz, kahit yung pagmumura niya at pag-threaten niya na pagsampalin daw sa mukha ni Congressman Abante is a freedom over expression daw. Ano yung takeaway mo dito?
As a rule, criticizing the government or a government person, especially a high official, is the highest form of protected speech. Ang dahilan po dyan, it might be, di ba, it might be immoral, it might be wrong, but the bottom line is we should be able to say anything about our officials. Kasi ang higher value dito is that we should not be afraid to criticize the government or government officials. Early case of US versus Bustos, no? Early in the 19th century pa yan, Justice George Malcolm dito sa Pilipinas. Sabi niya, pwedeng mali, pwedeng nagkukos siya ng konsumisyon, ng galit sa official, but wag tayo maging onion skin. So yun ang sinasabi ko, Congressman Abante, wag ka lang maging onion skin sa ganong klaseng mga comments, di ba? Ang sagot kasi doon, hindi pagmumura din. Ang pagsagot doon, bakit mo sinabi yon? Di ba? Tama ka ba sa sinabi mo yan? Bad speech is always countered by good speech.
Yeah.
Yun yung doon. Yun yung principle doon. Pag government people ang involved, pag government agency ang involved,
Yeah.
Okay.
So parang it's a matter of do not raise your voice but raise your argument.
exactly.
Diba?
Yan ang sagot dapat doon ni Abante because ang lumabas tuloy, parang pata sila, di ba?
Yeah.
They were like both kids.
Yeah. So parang
Nagtatantrum, di ba?
Exactly.
When what would have done was Congressman Abante would have shown how absurd this influencer is, di ba? How wrong she was. Yun ang dapat. Hindi na, murahin mo ako, murahin kita. Sampalin mo ako, sampalin kita. He went lower, as low as the person, di ba? I always criticize the government, by the way, but I would never call a government official names. I would never curse anyone, di ba?
Right.
Because that doesn't really raise the argument.
Kasi parang ang nangyari nga daw yesterday is more of like personal agenda na naghihingahan na sila ng mga sama ng loob nila sa isa't isa. But anyway, my question po to you, attorney, is that where do we draw the line in terms of accountability of the social media platforms? During the hearing yesterday, there was an exchange, heated exchange actually, or not naman exchange, pero yung sa side po ng congressman in terms of asking a representative from Meta on their accountability sa kanilang social media platform. And the representative from Meta, I think said na, 'di ba, parang the sole responsibility is the users, is on the users end. Your thoughts on that po?
That is simply silly, no? Kasi business ito eh. Business ito. They have the responsibility, diba, to not allow their platform to be used against other people, diba?
Correct, yes.
You know, I love Facebook, Instagram, no, but not for politics because it's really a very bad platform for politics, for social issues. It's good for family reunions, for class reunions,
Yeah.
diba? Pero hindi sila kumikita kasi dyan, diba? Kumikita sila pag may nagmumura. Kumikita sila, diba, pag may nag-aaway, diba? We should stop them from earning. Yun ang algorithm eh. The algorithm helps ano tawag niyan, raises posts that are bad for human beings or bad for society. So dapat bayaran nila yon, di ba? They should pay for that. They should pay for those who they damage or injured. Hindi sila neutral.
Yeah.
No, it's not a neutral. It's ang Meta is a bazooka, di ba? It's a tank. It's a nuclear missile. If you have 1 million followers, Meta is Facebook is di ba? It's a nuclear bomb. If you have 500,000, it's an F-16 fighter, di ba? If you have 500 to 1,000, maybe it's an Armalite, di ba? So no, we should not accept that. Sa US, because daw it's they were able to lobby, wala silang liability, which I hope the US will change. Pero sa atin, may liability sila. We don't necessarily have to change a law. They are liable for what is posted in their platform.
Right. Kasi ang nangyayari daw...
liability dapat.
Yeah.
Wala nang tayo immediate.
Right.
Liability.
Oo. Attorney, kasi nangyayari daw, if you, let's say, for example, report a video na talagang nagsispread ng fake news, within 6 to 24 hours pa yung action ng isang social media platform, which
not
already
favorable,
nag-proliferate na yung yung fake news.
Yeah.
First 10 hours pa lang, wala na. But I will even tell you, because I do this quite a lot already. Do this quite a lot for my clients. Ano yung mga nire-red tag na clients. Swerte ka na sa 6 to 24 hours or 48 hours. Sometimes weeks bago nila aksyonan, di ba?
Mapansin, no?
So yeah, really, dapat immediate ang liability kasi kung bibigyan mo sila ng window na ganyan, di ba? And by the way, they're able to afford it. Kaya nilang magbayad ng moderators na 24/7, di ba? At sa Pilipinas, unfortunately, mura lang naman yung moderators, di ba? Maybe daily wage lang yan or double the daily wage, di ba? They can afford tens of thousands of moderators who can right away notice na, oy, this is information or this is hateful, di ba?
Yeah.
And may context yan eh. As I said, kung ikaw 10 lang yung followers mo, bayaan ka na, di ba? Pero kung may threshold, 1,000? Certainly 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, immediate dapat ang pull down.
Yes.
Kasi the harm is di ba?
Yes.
It's immediate also.
Mas
And
severe.
extent.
Yeah, mas severe ang harm pag madami. But then,
Yes,
attorney,
of course, yeah.
the question is, how then should we engage with Meta and these other platforms like ByteDance in terms of ensuring like content that comes out is safe, no? Some have suggested maybe we treat them like a streaming platform, maybe like Netflix and HBO Max na, di ba, if they put in content sa kanila, automatic, pwede ireklamo kung hindi akma ang content sa isang grupo o sa isang edad or age group. It can be taken down, pwede sila idemanda. So, yung mga streaming platforms are very wary of what to put on their site. Ganun po dapat not censure, but itrato ang Meta.
Yes, definitely. Ako, I'm not in favor of government defining disinformation and regulating
Right.
disinformation with individuals, no? Or with the press for that matter. But social media, totally for it ako. Di ba? Kasi negosyo yan eh. Di ba? Negosyo yan eh. Of course, very important na ipaparegister mo sila sa Pilipinas, di ba? Ang claim ng Meta, from my experience, is hindi sila registered sa Pilipinas. Di ba?
Yes.
Yung mismo naglalagay ng content.
That's
Di ba?
right.
They should not be allowed to operate in the Philippines unless they're also registered in the country. Di ba? Dito ata, ang alam ko dito, they just sell basically ads in the Philippines.
That's right.
no?
Yes.
But immediate dapat ang ano nila, no. So no love lost ako. I will defend your right as media people to free press, individual rights to press freedom, to freedom of expression, and as long as walang clear and present danger. But Meta, TikTok, YouTube, di ba? They are businesses. They're big tech. They're adults. They have a lot of money. You can make them liable. You can fine them. They can be told to pay the damage that they cause.
Right.
And they can pay for the means to stop the disinformation.
That's right.
Kaya nila. May pera sila eh.
Alright.
Kaya nila to stop the disinformation.
That's right.
Okay po. Alright, once again, thank you so much for your time, Attorney Tony Lavinia, convener of Movement Against Disinformation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, senators expressed deep concern over the growing number of bullying incidents happening both inside and beyond the classroom walls. Here's the report.
A brawl at Bagong Silangan High School in Quezon City that involved intense hair pulling, and the fatal stabbing of a student at Moonwalk National High School in Parañaque. These incidents are among the recent acts of violence in schools that have left senators deeply concerned. During Tuesday's hearing of the Committee on Basic Education, Senator Win Gatchalian raised the alarm over the increasing cases of bullying both in and outside classrooms, with these incidents now widely circulated on social media.
Parang nagiging palabas na yung bullying ngayon kasi everyone has a cellphone. No? At yung cellphone na yon ay pwede mong i-upload kaagad. Pero may sugat yan o malalim na sugat hanggang sa darating pang mga panahon. So, kaya importante na itong problemang ito ma-address na natin ngayon.
According to the principal of Bagong Silangang High School, they immediately spoke to the parents of students involved in the brawl. They also made efforts to prevent the video from spreading online, but it was the victim's aunt who ended up uploading it. It turned out this wasn't the first nor the last bullying incident at the school.
Bakit madalas magkaroon ng bullying sa inyo? Meron ba kayong in-appoint na guidance designate?
Meron po sir sa grade 7, meron po sa grade 8, grade 9 at grade 10 sir. Meron din pong grade level in charge po sa bawat grade level.
So-called bullies are given community service. Along with their victims, these children also undergo counseling. However, that's not the case at Moonwalk National High School. The principal revealed they lack dedicated guidance counselors. At present, the school only has a guidance designate who also serves as a teacher.
Tayo pa rin ang tinaguri ang pinaka-bullying capital of the world.
According to the Program for International Student Assessment or PISA, the Philippines ranked highest in bullying incidents among schools worldwide in 2018 and 2022. Department of Education data also revealed rising incidents of physical and cyberbullying. DepEd admits their teachers cannot monitor all students, especially when they step outside classrooms. The agency is now proposing a child protection committee in each school to address student violence. For Gatchalian, one effective way to curb bullying is to teach good manners and right conduct or GMRC to students from grades 1 to 12. DepEd promises to make this a priority when the new school year begins. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza, PR1 News.
Meanwhile, the Department of Education and Special Olympics Pilipinas have signed an agreement to scale up disability inclusion. Under the partnership, some 50,000 students with and without intellectual disabilities will train and compete together on the same sports teams. This aims to promote inclusion and empathy. Unified sports programs will also be established in at least 500 schools nationwide from preschool through senior high school. The agreement runs from February 2025 through December 2028.
And to provide insights into these developments, we have Save the Children Philippines Advocacy Manager, Attorney Emma Salmani. Attorney, thank you for joining us.
Magandang umaga po. Naririnig niyo po ako?
Yes, Attorney.
Yes, Attorney.
Okay. Oo.
Okay, so ano po ba ang reaction po ng Save the Children Philippines regarding po dito sa sinasabing ang Pilipinas ay bullying capital na po, no, in the world?
Kailangan po nating tingnan muna yung bakit ba nagkakaroon ng bullying. Kasi may mga factors na nagko-contribute to bullying.
Right.
At itong mga factors na ito ay nangyayari, karamihan dito ay nangyayari sa loob ng tahanan. Yung pong may mga pag-aaral po na nagsasabi na ang mga magulang na nabully when they were children or were not provided with enough emotional support by their parents tends to become bullies pag lumabas sila sa loob ng paaralan. Parang isa ito na manifestation na, hey, I need your attention. Kailangan nyo akong tingnan, kailangan nyo akong tulungan. It is actually a cry for help. So kami po sa Save the Children, pinopromote po namin yung capacitating our parents and our caregivers on how to do positive parenting. Turuan po yung mga bata on how to handle stress, paano sila gagawa ng desisyon, batay dun sa mga circumstances available to them. And then malaman nila ano yung consequences ng kanilang actions. So paglabas po nila dun sa kanilang tahanan, alam nila na they do not have to seek attention from outside by doing things na nakakasakit sa kapwa nila. They can always go back to their parents at doon nila i-discuss ano yung kanilang mga stress na nadarama. Na
That's right.
meron silang comfort na the parents can help them address the situation. Pwede din pong maging dahilan ng bullying ay yung environment. Meron ding mga studies na nagsasabi that bullying is prevalent in public schools, especially pag malaki ang student population. Na napag-usapan na naman na isang dahilan dito, kulang talaga tayo ng guidance counselors.
Right.
At kung meron mang mga registered guidance counselors sa loob ng paaralan na mga teachers, dahil ang salary grade na binibigay sa guidance counselor ay mababa, they would rather be teachers so that they can move up the ladder than become guidance counselor kasi hanggang mag-retire sila, guidance counselor pa rin sila. So, yun po yung mga sitwasyon. Pwede din na nagkakaroon ng bullying, this is also supported by studies, na meron kasing discriminatory acts yung teachers, maaaring ito ay hindi nila sinasadya, but the students perceive it to be discriminatory, maaaring because of the physical condition of the student, maaaring because of the socioeconomic status. Maraming bagay po yun na nagtitrigger po ng reaction dun sa bata who feels discriminated na parang para hindi mo ko i-discriminate, I have to show you na I can protect myself by doing this against other children.
Yes,
Marami pong
Attorney, I'd like to ask also, no, kasi if you look at most of the videos na naglalabasan in the recent months or at least the last year or so sa mga bullying, makikita niyo po sa mga video, karamihan ng mga estudyante around the fight or the bullying that's happening is lahat sila, imbis na i-de-escalate yung situation or awatin yung gulo, lahat sila nakataas ng telepono to record the video para magkaroon sila ng content. So I'd like to ask, ano ang impact nitong social media trying to get likes and views over how bullying is prevalent right now?
Ang social media kasi, ano yan maaari siyang makatulong, maaari siyang makasama. Ang isang ano po dito kasi, itong mga bata na ito, gusto nilang mag-viral.
Yeah.
Yung iba siguro, meron silang content where they get money. For example, yung may mga social media platforms na nagbibigay ng monetary value pag
Yes.
maraming nagla-like sa'yo.
That's right.
So, pwedeng isa yung ano. Tapos, parang kasing meron ding mga pag-aaral na magsusupport dito na parang in our country, parang nanonormalize na rin yung ganito kasi we do not do enough steps to stop this, or yung mga social media platforms ay meron silang mga safeguards para pag may mga ganitong klaseng content, hindi na ito kumakalat pa. But unfortunately, mag-report ka, action on your report takes quite some time. And by the time na nag-act na yung social media platform, kumalat na ito, the
Dami ng
damage has
share.
been done.
Correct, attorney. Tama po yun. So ano dapat gawin natin, attorney, in terms of educating in children about yung responsible de-escalating of bullying? Kasi, di ba, imbis na awatin nung unang panahon, I mean, at least during my time, pag may away, madaming umaawat. Ngayon, wala. Nakataas lahat ng phone.
Opo, tama po yan. Ang isa pong from my perspective bilang isang magulang, bilang isang lola, kailangan po yung within the household, maturuan na po yung mga bata natin, matrain na po sila kung paano nila i-handle ang kanilang social media accounts. Maturo po natin sa kanila yung correct values, ano ba yung tama, ano ba yung mali. Kasi itong ganito, hindi naman ito tama na dapat ang ginawa sana ng mga bata is try to stop yung nangyayaring bullying. But instead, pinipicturean pa nila, pinapakalat pa nila, which gives the person who is bullying the other person, parang, successful yung ginagawa ko.
Nainganyo
Wag
pa.
kang uti-ili. Parang
Yes.
ganun yung pinapalakas mo pa yung loob. So dapat anuhin ito.
Yes.
Ito pong ganitong sitwasyon, hindi po ito dapat inaasa lang natin sa schools.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
It should be an effort of the parent, yung sa komunidad po natin at sa school. Hindi po pwedeng isa lang ang
Yes.
mag-a-act dito. Ang protecting a child against all forms of abuses, including bullying, should be a whole of community approach.
Totoo. And I believe talaga na dapat merong relationship between the parents and the school when it comes to this problem. Pero kanina po, attorney, you've mentioned a lot of good points as to the factors that contributes po yung bullying sa school. One of which yung kakulangan po ng guidance counselor sa mga eskwelahan. And in fact, yesterday po sa hearing sa Senado, sabi nga daw po, they found out that 966 out of 45,000 schools, wala daw pong panel doon versus bullying. At kulang na kulang talaga yung guidance counselors. Diyan po ba sa Save the Children Philippines, meron po ba tayong mga coordination or collaboration with school when it comes to this?
Nung pong meron tayong bagong batas, yung Republic Act 12080, ito yung Basic Education and Mental Health Act. Tumulong po si Save the Children in advocating for the passage of this law. And we also supported the development of the IRR.
Right.
So dito po sa discussion na ito, lumabas talaga ang kakulangan ng guidance counselors na we do not have enough to cater to the needs of our students. Pag sinunod mo yung ratio na, I'm not very sure if it is 5,000 is to 1 na ratio. Not very sure on the ratio. Pero if we will comply with that ratio, we do not have enough manpower.
Right.
So ang isang pwede sana pong gawin dito, wag nating iyasa sa schools lang yung ganito.
Right.
Katulad dun sa batas na bagong pasa na to, paggawa po ng mental health program sa school, ito po ay may participation ng parents, may participation ng mga bata, may participation ng school personnel, pati po ng CSOs. And yung mga CSOs, pwede silang tumulong to at least bridge the gap doon sa kanilang mga areas na nag-ooperate sila. Sa Save the Children po, meron kami ngayong programa na ini-implement namin sa Quezon City. Meron po kaming isang public high school sa Quezon City at isang elementary school. At yung isa sa mga schools na ito ay batay sa record ng
Okay,
DepEd,
alright.
medyo mataas po ang
Okay.
incidence ng bullying.
Okay.
So ang nangyayari dito, magpo-provide ng support si Save the Children to help the school
Oo.
magkaroon ng baseline
Right.
dun sa mental status ng kanilang estudyante and the teachers.
Okay.
Kasi hindi naman
Oo.
pwede po na
Attorney.
estudyante lang.
Oo.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to cut you there. Mabilis na lang po kasi we don't have much time. Kayo po
Opo.
ba dyan po sa Save the Children, kayo po in favor dun sa mga suggestion na konpiskahin na lang daw muna yung mga telepono ng mga estudyante dahil yun nga, biniblame nilang social media dun sa mga nagiging ugali ngayon ng mga bata konpiskahin during class. Yes or no po?
Depende po kung paano gagawin mo sa pagkumpiska.
Sige, sige. Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Save the Children Philippines Advocacy Manager, Attorney Emma Salmay. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you po.
Alright, in other news, former President Rodrigo Duterte has appointed French lawyer Dov Jacobs as an assistant counsel in his crimes against humanity case. Jacobs, with 15 years of experience in international law, has worked on high-profile ICC cases, including those of Laurent Gbagbo and Mahatma Said. Duterte will be Jacobs' first Southeast Asian client. Meanwhile, Kitty Duterte, on behalf of his father, has filed a motion before the Supreme Court to set the consolidated habeas corpus petitions for oral arguments. Earlier, Kitty, along with Duterte's sons, Davao City Mayor Sebastian and Davao City 1st District Representative Paulo, filed habeas corpus petitions seeking their father's release from the ICC. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Now, 5 Chinese fugitives are now under the custody of authorities after being caught in Tawi-Tawi. Here's the report.
We effect a warrantless arrest against you, so you have the right to remain silent.
These 5 men were apprehended in Zamboanga City on March 21. They turned out to be Chinese fugitives trying to fly out from the country. They were about to exit through the back door in Holo, Sulu, but their speedboat broke down at sea in Languyan, Tawi-Tawi. Police and immigration personnel then responded to the area.
Instead of facing the deportation cases against them, mukhang ang ginawa nila is they attempted to depart illegally sa backdoor para hindi sila maibalik dun sa bansang kanilang pinanggalingan.
According to the Immigration Bureau, they were employees of Lucky South 99, the illegal pogo hub located in Porac, Pampanga. The boatman, meanwhile, said he did not know that his passengers were fugitives.
Yung boss niya sir nakatawag. Punta ka daw ng hulo. May tao daw doon. Hindi daw nila alam kung in-check man. Tapos pagdating nila sa Solo sir, naghintay daw sila sa pantalan.
He added that a certain Batman ordered him to provide service to them. The BI said Batman was paid 25,000 pesos to be the transporter. Authorities are still hunting him down, while the 5 Chinese fugitives are now detained at Camp Bagong Diwa. Mobile journalist Mary Reyes, we are One News.
Let's get more updates on that from the Immigration Bureau.
We have BI spokesperson Dana Sandoval joining us live on the line, rather. Good morning.
Good morning, magandang umaga.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again. Can you give us more details about these arrests at saan po nanggaling yung info at this time around doon po sa supposedly ginamit po nila yung backdoor exit?
Yes, the local law enforcement in Zamboanga, yung PNP, were able to arrest these 5 individuals. Actually, they were traveling with 3 Filipinos. These were the boatmen that were assisting their illegal departure in the Philippines. So apparently, they had engine trouble in the middle of the ocean. That's why the PNP swooped in to conduct assistance. But when they found what they found out is that the boat was occupied by 5 Chinese men. So agad nila, they immediately informed immigration about this, and we were able to identify verify their identities and found out that they were actually blacklisted and are actually part of the Lucky South 99 Pogo scam hub. That's why this is very concerning for us because it really shows that this illegal exit route is being utilized not just by trafficking victims but those who are trying to evade proper inspection at our airports.
That's right. Kaya spokes Dana, that's what I'd like to ask you about that, no? Kasi may word na transporter or middleman na naririnig natin paulit-ulit sa different reports about backdoors, no? Are we looking at the same group? Is this a thriving business already sa backdoor natin?
It might not be the same group, but they have the same modus operandi. I think they're using fishermen, boatmen in the area to transport these individuals who are trying to cross the border illegally. I believe, we believe that it might be commonplace in the area. I'm sad to use that word, but it might be commonplace in the area to have these boatmen, these fishermen, transport individuals to the other side, to the other country, to Malaysia. So individuals that are trying to escape arrest here in Manila use this route because it seems like it's an easier route for them to be able to evade authorities.
Yes, folks, Dana, you said they're using the boatmen or like this boatman in question. Ngayon, do you think they are aware, these boatmen, about what is happening and may liability ba sila?
Definitely, they do have liability, but as to awareness, they might be not aware of the gravity of what they are doing. For them, it's just merely crossing islands. They're not really thinking too much about it. Like in the case of one of the boatmen that was interviewed by the PNP, he had no idea what was going on. He was just instructed to carry these 5 men to cross the islands, and that was it. They were offered to be paid 25,000 pesos for their services. But they didn't ask too much about it. They didn't even know that they were supposed to be carrying Chinese nationals in their boat. They just found out at that moment that they picked those Chinese men up.
Ma'am, kasi po, can you enlighten us on the existing law on the use po of illegal exit, yung mga backdoor channels natin? Kasi I remember during one of the hearings in the Senate on Pogo-related issues, nabanggit po ito at sinasabing wala daw po talagang eksaktong law na nagbabawal sa paggamit ng mga ganitong klaseng backdoor channels.
Yes, yun yung nakita ng ating legal team when the whole issue of Harry Roque leaving the country was being investigated on. If you can remember, Attorney Harry Roque kept on saying that he did not break any law by
Right.
leaving the country, and to some extent, that might be true, except that if there are related things that he did that might be contrary to law, doon siya mapipenalize. But as to
The
using
use, oo.
illegal channels to leave the country, pag mga Filipinos, there's no exact law penalizing that. You can be penalized by, say for example, you have violated the Philippine Passport Act, you falsified a public document by putting fake stamps maybe in your passport. But those are related
Offenses?
penalties, offenses, not exactly pointing to the activity of illegal border crossing.
Right.
Yes, I'd like to clarify that, spokesman. It's a good thing we're talking about this right now. Kasi ang question is, ano ba po ang jurisdiction talaga ng BI in terms of securing the border of the Philippines? Kasi my understanding is, hindi naman po ako maalam sa batas masyado, pero ang understanding ko is anything that has to do with the borders of the country, kayo po ang aside from the Coast Guard, the physical presence, kayo po ang responsible dito. So, in other words, kung wala pong structure, like sa backdoor area, walang structure, wala na kayong magagawa unless may airport doon?
Ang postings po ng immigration personnel are for formal ports like airports and yung mga seaports po natin that merong regular routes. For bay areas, halimbawa po mga private bay or yung mga public beaches, halimbawa, these are being monitored by the LGU, the local law enforcement, as well as the Coast Guard, yung merong mga water assets. If they find something suspicious about foreign nationals, usually an interagency, they turn over the foreign national to us. But in actual monitoring of those areas, it's not immigration, yung physical presence doon, but LGU, local law enforcement, and the Coast Guard.
Okay. Anong mangyayari po dito sa ating yung mga Chinese fugitives na nahuli po natin dyan sa Tawi-Tawi? Sila po ba ay madedeport agad or kakasuhan? Will they be joining others na ngayon ay nakadetine pa rin po?
They are still detained ngayon inside our facility in Camp Bagong Diwa. We want to expedite the deportation of these guys because obviously they are an escape risk. They're trying to escape. They're trying to evade law. So we want to expedite their deportation. We have not received any information that if they have local cases here in the Philippines, but so far parang wala naman po, so there would be no impediment to expediting their deportation back to China.
Yeah. And moving forward, spokes, what does the BI now plan to do in terms of securing our backdoor exiting? Is it possible na magtayo doon ng a structure or a border or something
Post.
to 'di ba? Or posting, so parang magkaroon po ng bantay sa mga backdoor areas natin?
I think it would be physically impossible to have postings for all areas kasi it's literally
Malawak
the entire Bay Area of the
that's right.
Philippines. We're talking about that. But what we're doing through the IACAT, actually the Interagency Council Against Trafficking, the IACAT conducted a study on these supposed backdoor exits. And they have given recommendations for certain agencies that are in charge of those areas. So LGU, local law enforcement, Coast Guard, Navy in some cases. So these areas, since identified na ito, the IACAT requested more presence and stronger or tighter monitoring of these areas. And so far, mukhang it's working. Kasi because of that study was conducted in September, there have been arrests. There was another arrest, apart from this one, there was another arrest of a transporter, alias Fiona, yun naman for trafficking victims crossing over to Malaysia, going to Myanmar. So it's the same route, it's the same modus. So I think there are changes that are happening,
okay.
and we're happy about that.
Okay. Ma'am Dana, I'm so sorry. We have one last question po sa inyo kasi we don't have much time. I want to go back doon po sa ating Chinese fugitives. Would we know po during your investigation kung saan po tumigil na natili itong mga Chinese fugitives na ito bago po sila pumunta dyan sa backdoor channel na yan at tumakas? Meron po ba mga Pilipino sangkot doon sa pagkakanlong po sa kanila since the seizure of Lucky South 99 sa Porac, Pampanga?
Yun yung inaalam pa natin kung anong nangyari from the period that the Lucky South 99 was raided by PAOK up until itong attempted nila na pagtakas. But from what we know from our operatives, from Manila, they took a ferry to Zamboanga, and yung regular passenger ferry, domestic ferry, and then from Zamboanga they took the boat na nga through their transporter. Pero we're very sure na merong mga tumulong dito, definitely Filipinos, kasi yung kinakausap nilang alias Batman na sinasabi was Filipino, kausap ng mga bangkero. So it's a concerted effort, and we're happy to help the local law enforcement agencies to find out kung sino tong mga to, kasi it will really plug holes in the illegal using of our borders.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Muli, BI spokesperson Dana Sandoval.
Salamat.
The Commission on Elections has issued another show-cause order against Pasig congressional candidate Christian Sia over his remarks about his staff's physical attributes. Comelec spokesperson Attorney Rex Laudianco said Sia's remarks may have violated the poll body's anti-discrimination and fair campaign guidelines. He also noted that this could lead to criminal charges or possible disqualification. Sia has been given until April 11 to respond and provide an explanation for his statements.
Tingin po ng ating task force safe ay na-involve yung gender-based harassment sa pamamagitan sa uri po ng tinatawag natin body shaming.
Now in other news, ashfall blanketed several areas in Negros Occidental following Canlaon volcano's explosive eruption early Tuesday morning. The ash spread across more than 10 barangays in La Carlota, La Castellana, and Bago City. According to the Negros Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, nearly 2,000 families or approximately 6,000 residents have been evacuated. Aircraft are also prohibited from flying over the summit of Mount Canlaon. The Office of Civil Defense is on standby and ready to respond should the alert level for Canlaon be raised to level 4.
Madadagdagan ng additional at least 9,000 families should be evacuated. Meron ng mga ibang LGUs na mag-a-adapt or kukup-kup dun sa mga maaaring lumikas at mga ilangan ng temporary na mga tahanan.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
An SUV was captured on camera nearly running over pedestrians at a gas station in Quezon City. Here's the report.
In this viral video, a police officer was seen talking to the driver of a white SUV along Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City. And then suddenly, the driver retreated and drove his car backwards around the nearby gasoline station. People were seen moving away to avoid the SUV. The car did not stop until it hit an island boulder. In another video, a passenger was heard crying inside his car. He said his vehicle was just parked in front of a repair shop when it was repeatedly hit by the SUV.
Habang nakahazard ako dun sa tapat nung aircon cleaning na yon, may bumamp sa akin ng paunti-unti dun sa likod. Yan tinignan ko at bumaba ako. Sabi ko, hindi na gumagalaw yung sasakyan. Then kinatok ko, sabi ko, hindi siya nagre-respond, hindi siya nagbubukas ng window.
Turns out, another SUV was damaged due to the incident.
Hindi kasi yung mga sasakyan, buhay namin. Doon kami kumukuha ng kinakain, mga buhay ng driver namin eh. So inisip ko, wala na tayong negosyo.
According to the police, the SUV driver is a 68-year-old retired personnel of the U.S. Navy. He said everything that happened was just an accident. He will face charges due to reckless imprudence, resulting in multiple damage to property. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
Grabe.
Accident? Parang
Paikot-ikot siya no?
nabigla siya sa, hindi ko alam. Kasi may mga cases naman of SUA, yung sudden unintended acceleration sa mga ibang models of cars.
I remember, di ba may mga na-recall pa ng mga models because of that, yung SUA.
Pero yung SUA na yan, yung SUA, it's sudden unintended. Mabilis siya na burst. Tapos hindi parang ito na tuloy-tuloy.
Tsaka nag-aano pa ang tawag doon, umaatras pa
Umaatras ng matindi. Suskwala pa siya. Anyway, nag-aano nga sila may takot na nga ang tao sa Fortuner daw sa daan.
Oh, grabe.
Oo, kasi this is the second
And we can feel yung voice nung nasa background na naiiyak sila. Kasi syempre, buti na lang walang nangyari.
This comes at the heels of a road rage incident with another SUV also.
Buti na lang walang nasaktan. Yun na lang.
Navy personnel,
Damage to
68-year-old.
lang.
We don't know the context of yet kung ba't siya na-stop. So we have to see.
Details,
Or agitated ba siya? Was he under the influence? But there are no details yet naman.
He didn't give interviews na
No. So,
pero sabi nga niya, sasagutin na lang niya whatever expenses ang kailangan. Pero I don't know,
why
kasi
did you do that?
meron siya mga kaso pa nakakaharap.
Kasi kung may ginawa kang ganyan, before we go, ang tanong is, why did you do that?
Nag-PTSD ba siya?
Should you be allowed to drive?
I don't know
Again, di ba, kung ganyan, di ba? So, we have to take a look at things like that.
revocation na ng license kung depende yun sa magiging nila investigation.
Anyway, let's move on. President Bongbong Marcos has promoted 39 senior officials of the Philippine National Police. Among the promoted officials were CIDG Chief Major General Nicolas Torre III and PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Jean Fajardo. Torre led the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte, who was turned over to the International Criminal Court, while Fajardo oversaw the operations. Marcos reminded the newly promoted officers of their duty to uphold the Constitution and maintain integrity in law enforcement.
Some illnesses require antibiotics for recovery, but what happens if they no longer work? Para bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal, Denise Valdesancho.
Kilalang mabisang panlunas ang antibiotics sa iba't ibang uri ng karamdaman. Ngunit ang ikinababahala ng medical community, ang tinatawag na antimicrobial resistance.
Ang mga karaniwan nating ginagamit na antibiotics laban sa sakit, tila hindi na gumagana sa ilan. Sa larawang ito, makikita ang mahabang listahan ng antibiotics na hindi na tumatalab sa isang pasyente. Kwento ni Dr. Kate Trinidad, unang nagpa-check up ang pasyente niyang ito dahil hirap sa pag-ihi. Nang makumpirmang may urinary tract infection o UTI, ginamot niya ang pasyente gamit ang first line of antibiotics. Ngunit kahit tapos na ang ilang araw ng karaniwang gamutan, bumalik pa rin daw ito dahil sa parehong problema.
Nagtaka na kami kasi nakapag-start naman na kami ng first line of treatment for UTI, pero bakit masakit pa rin pag umiihi siya? Nagtanong kami sa patient kung meron bang history
ng pag-self-medicate or paggamit no ng antibiotic in the past. And then she said yes.
Nang ipatest ang specimen mula sa pasyente,
Sobrang daming ng mga gamot no na resistant si patient. So makikita nyo dito sa right side, sobrang dami niyang gamot na hindi na effective, no. And then yung natitira na lang na sensitive siya is yung tatlong nasa kaliwa.
antimicrobial resistance o AMR kung tawagin ito. At nangyayari yan kapag hindi na nagre-responde ang bakterya, virus, fungi at parasite sa mga antibiotics. Sa Pilipinas, nasa 15,700 ang nasawi taong 2019 na posibleng dahil sa antimicrobial resistance, habang nasa 56,700 naman ang deaths na iniuugnay riyan. At ang dahilan daw dito,
Based on my experience as a community physician, sobrang talamak ng self-medication. Uso din yung prescription sharing kung saan nagre-recommend ang isang pasyente ng antibiotic na ininom nila in the past sa mga taong kasalukuyang may karamdaman.
kaya babala nila kung magka-antimicrobial resistance ka man,
Maaaring mas matagal yung gugugulin na oras para gamutin yung pasyente, which can lead to further complications. And then pangalawa, syempre mas mabigat siya sa bulsa. Kasi kapag meron ng presence ng AMR, yung mga readily available na mga antibiotic at saka yung mas murang antibiotic, hindi na siya tatalab.
sa kabila nga ng mga programa at polisiya ng pamahalaan patungkol sa pagbenta at pagreseta ng mga gamot tulad ng antibiotics, ramdam pa rin daw ang kakulangan pagdating sa awareness ng AMR.
Iwasan natin na mag-self-medicate ng antibiotics dahil merong tamang paraan ng paggamit sa pag-inom nito. Tapos makikinig tayo no sa mga payo ng doktor para naman no sa may-ari ng tindahan at saka may business na maliit na butika. Kailangan aware din tayo no kung ano yung mga possible na consequences kapag nag-dispense tayo ng antibiotics without the proper guidance of a physician.
Mahirap ang magkasakit, ngunit mas mahirap kung ang gamot na sanang makakatulong sa atin ay hindi na natin magagamit. Paalala lang na ang gamot, tatalab lang kung gagamitin sa tamang paraan. Mobile Journal din sa Sancho po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
In PVL All-Filipino Conference, the Petrogas Angels moved one win away from clinching their first ever title after escaping Creamline Cool Smashers. Brooke Van Sickle delivered a strong outing to lead the Angels with 24 points on 21 attacks, 2 blocks and 1 service ace. Petrogas, only with 2 franchise championships to its name, can get a long-awaited title breakthrough in the All-Filipino Conference. Game 2 is set for Thursday, April 10 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. And before we let you go, since it's the Day of Valor or Araw ng Kagatigan, I'd like to leave you with a quote. The quote is, "Valor is stability, not of legs and arms, but of courage and the soul." Michelle de Montag. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.